there's this other song. There's this song by a metal band where the whole song is about like Star Wars. And like the chorus is like, my childhood became a lie the day Han Solo died and I didn't cry, and all this other stuff. And there's a guy in the background screaming, Kylo Ren's a bitch. It's the funniest song. It's great, and it's all animated, which is hilarious.
I'm so freaking sorry that I didn't stay. Didn't mean to run and throw it all away. Brain wishing, hoping that it's not too late. Hey. Someday I'm gonna make it back to you.
Welcome to All Angles Podcast, everybody. Cookie and I.
Hey, hi guys.
Cookie and I are living in our own world over here.
We really are. You'll understand why later.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool things that are gonna be coming up. So this is our 16th episode.
Ooh,
We're officially at 600 subscribers.
We are Brett Hole into this.
We are, and
No one else is gonna get that.
that was well done, by the way. You could have gone with, who else could you have gone with? Pat LaFontaine.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last, or Taylor Radish last year for us.
Well, that doesn't do me anything.
I'm glad this is not a sports show. I wanted to go I so badly wanted to not mention hockey. We already fucking blew it.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's just, I mean, there's no avoiding it. I don't care what we say.
Yeah, if anybody ever questions our love for hockey one day, they're just stupid.
And I'm home.
Cookie is home. He's feeling a little bit better.
I still sound a little rough, but I feel a million times better.
You looked like death worn over last time.
Yeah, I tell you what. So we recorded the Lozzie show on last Wednesday that went up on Friday. We recorded that Wednesday. Thursday, I was a train wreck. Absolute train wreck.
You could hear it when you were talking. You were even talking about how it's just like a
but I
little
didn't
thing,
think.
blah, blah.
Yeah, but it was weird because I told you before going into it, I was like, hey, by the way, I'm going to sound a little rough. We were texting before we did the recording on Wednesday, so I'm going to sound a little rough. I go, I made a mistake, and I thought this is literally all it was. I go, I screwed up. I fell asleep on top of my blanket the night before, so it got cold overnight because I wasn't under my covers. And I just thought, oh, it's one of those things your throat says you're a dumbass. Put your freaking blanket over you next time. Yeah, clearly that was not it. Thursday was really bad, really bad. I was telling someone at work today at the auto parts place. I said, if I was being smart, honestly, just full transparency, I should have probably gone to like urgent care to get real medication other than not just the Dayquil and all that, because there was a point on Thursday I was walking to the kitchen to get, I'm pretty sure, a cup of hot tea, because that's kind of where I was at that point, and I had to stop because I went into full body violent shakes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not good.
That's the flu just saying, hey, you're my bitch now.
I turned around and literally went, I said, all right, I know exactly how I'm going to beat this now. Now that because of that, I kind of know what I'm dealing with. Went back, sweatpants, hoodie, heating pad, went and did, okay, this is one you're going to love. I hope people comment on this one. And my mother, I love you to death because you always know. Went and grabbed my big spoonful of chopped garlic, swallowed it like they're pills. I don't know if you've ever heard that trick. It's an old wives' tale, old mom's thing. Literally, I get the little jars of the chopped garlic.
Is it about like the garlic, like the minced, or is it?
Yeah. The jar of the minced garlic, and you take just a normal spoon, like you'd eat cereal with, and a giant spoonful. And everybody's like, "Oh, are you just your breath's gonna stink, gonna taste like shit." Well, first of all, when you're sick, I don't care what my breath is like.
It already is bad.
I live alone. Like, what are we doing? But you're swallowing it like pills. You're not like chewing on it.
Yeah,
but
you're not there for flavor.
Full of antioxidants and all that good stuff for you, man. It's so good. And it works every time. I did that, grabbed my tea, grabbed some water, and I went and I literally sweated this shit out of me. I woke up, finally got to sleep, woke up. My sheets were, I mean, you could have wrung them out. I had been sweating so much, but it works. I mean, I felt better almost instantly, but I still had no voice.
To try that, because I always have garlic.
Yeah, I do it every time I start to get sick, and I had forgotten about it. That's how messed up I was through that whole process. Like, and then I finally went, why the hell I haven't done the garlic thing yet? I probably would have been 100% already.
I think I even said to you the first day, I'm like, you probably have that 24-hour flu. You're like, no, I just slept on my blankets.
Yeah, I didn't
go through that.
Because that day I did not feel bad. I just had the funky voice. But man,
yeah.
that next morning,
That's That's what happened to me. I think I told you on the mentors trip, sitting next to TVR, like he was sick. And then by the time we landed in Boston, I went from feeling fine on our flight from Fort Lauderdale to Boston. We landed in Boston. Now, mind you, the NHL team stay at like 5-star hotels. Like we were at the Four Seasons in downtown Boston. I get into this immaculate room where I'm afraid to touch anything. And then I'm just, hell is just killing me. And that was just by the time we landed. And I was like, okay, this is going to go through me quick, but it's going to be bad. Luckily, we didn't have a game the next day. They only had practice, and I didn't really go near anybody. I wore my mask because we were. It was a couple years like post COVID, so still not fully out of the woods. And then I went. I remember at like 2:00 in the morning, I found this Chinese restaurant that was open all night, and I got hot and sour soup. And I was like, "Can you guys make it spicy?" And usually, I'm not good with that. I ate this hot and sour soup. When I woke up the next morning, you would have never known I was sick.
Yeah.
And I felt amazing. And then I did a couple whiskey shots with a couple of the players' parents.
Yeah.
But,
I just don't get sick. I'm not one of those guys because I mean, men, and rightfully so, we're soft as shit. Women are way stronger than we are. I will never argue that. And I understand the man flu is a real thing. We're big babies. We get a cold, we're done. Women get a cold, they can go build a bridge. But I just don't get sick. And when I do, it's bad. And I could tell it was bad. The one thing I always know when I'm truly, truly sick, I think I told you about this, I get the pain all in my jawline.
yeah.
And that's when I know, it's like, yeah, this isn't just a
Right.
head cold I can deal with. Something's just not right. And that's what happened that Thursday. And it was not fun. It was not a fun day. I was supposed to be driving to Texas that day. And I didn't get to go until Friday. And in all reality, I probably shouldn't have driven Friday, but I wasn't going to miss a chance to see my mom and Todd. Wasn't going to miss a chance to, bring some stuff back that I showed John one of them that hopefully everybody else will get to see in the near future as a part of the background. But, it was great to see Mom, great to see Todd. But I'm glad to be back because, again, not to mention hockey again, but hockey season's about to start for me. So
We never talk about hockey, so we're due.
no. But we'll get past that because we got other things to talk about today.
We do. But and the first thing, it's not even really a plan thing. Like I don't know what Cookie's going to talk about, but this is something that I just saw today, and I think it was just announced today. These days are running so long for me now. I don't know what day is what. But like everybody saw the announcement where, and I don't want to be political. Like honestly, one of the greatest things about being in a democracy is you have the freedom to support whoever you support. Just make it for good reasons. But President Trump has now set up so by the end of this week we will have 800 National Guardsmen in DC.
By the way, let me stop you for those who might just be watching this for the first time or don't know. You live in the DC area.
Yeah, I could be. I'm usually like when I photograph a Capitals game. So my main gig is one of the photographers for the Capitals. Our arena is right in downtown. It's not like these other places where they play outside of the city. So I'm in DC all the time. I'm there all the time, and they did it. He says to go after. First of all, they say he announced it like they're going there to assist law enforcement, but it's actual federal control over the DC Metro Police. That's not assistance. That's takeover. And then they're saying they're doing it to kind of because it's being overrun by gangs and violent crime. And then he said he wants to, I can't remember exactly what he said.
Well, he's also going to deploy the National Guard.
What's that?
He's also planning on deploying the National Guard in addition.
That's what I'm saying. The 800 guardsmen, the 800 National Guardsmen
sorry.
Are going to be there by the end of this week. And basically 200 are going to be on patrol at any time of day, which it's going to be crazy because it's going to be like one of those movies you see where you're driving around the capital of your country, our free first world country, and there's going to be military stuff rolling around. Now, granted, there's a lot of military around here. We see it all the time. I can't go 5 minutes without seeing a Black Hawk overhead. I think I joked in the last episode that I'm only 20 minutes from Quantico. We have Belvoir Army Base, which is 20 minutes from me north. In the other direction, it's part of Alexandria. It's massive. So there's a ton of military stuff here. I always joke I'm one of 3 people that doesn't work for the government.
John and I pretty much determined earlier, this whole announcement was made because of John's comments in our last episode.
I'm still just waiting for him to show up, man. I'm real sorry. But he's also saying he's trying to like eliminate home. Like he wants. I think he said homeless need to be out of DC. Not like we're gonna find a resolution,
No, just get out of here.
but
We
he's
don't
gonna
care.
make it illegal.
We don't care where you go. Go somewhere else.
I'll be straight up with you. If I was homeless, please arrest me. I'll have a roof over my head and 3 guaranteed meals a day.
Well, I
And
think let me back up again to what you said, and we've made it clear from the start of this podcast. We are going to, and until we determine it's the right time, and that may never happen, although I think there will come a time, we're not going to get overly political with this. I think, John and I are fairly similar in our leanings. I might be a little more stronger in that direction, but that's neither here nor there with regards to what we're talking about. The problem is, whether we're talking about sports on our Friday show or whatever, there are certain things you just can't avoid. You just can't. Politics have to play a part in the conversation. But what we're referring to is we're not going to go hardcore into this is why you should be voting for this person or whatever. And I hit my microphone. It's the first time in a long time. Damn you. It was you lately. But joking aside, that's more the argument. It's like we're not going to completely avoid politics. You can't do that. But we're not going to get into this is why I'm voting for this person. You should do the same, blah, blah, blah. This person sucks because of this. Now, granted, I will probably say that a few times, including this episode. But, I said in a previous episode kind of my thoughts on the whole thing very briefly. I didn't get deep into it because we're just not going to. But you'll get an idea of where I stand for sure.
And the crazy part about it is, like, for most things that go on in the government, I'll be the first to admit, it's like, listen, we're not behind closed doors. We know what the media puts out to us, and that's both sides of the media. I'll admit I watch both news channels, so I can try and find that middle lane of what the hell people are talking about. But at the same time, like, regardless of what you're leaning, it's a nerve-wracking thing to have the military now be in control and occupy your capital. We're not under attack. We're not here at war here in the country. And to have it out of the blue, because DC is at a 30-year low of violent crime.
Hey, by all measures, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, facts are facts.
Yeah. And
Crime's at a 30-year low.
And DC is used to be a very violent place. I think I told you the story where I was held up at gunpoint and they stole my $13,000 lens.
Yep.
And honestly, nothing could really be done. It wasn't on my insurance list as gear yet, so I couldn't even claim it. And so I was like, that was like when I first got here too. So I was like, oh, great. Welcome to DC. But at the same time, like, it is at a low, and I'm in DC a lot. I love going up there, especially going to the National Mall and taking pictures of the people around and the things that are happening. We'll go up into the Georgetown area, which is a gorgeous area of DC. And a lot of DC is great. Like, a couple times I've heard about really bad violence in DC. Now, granted, it's a big city. There's going to be violent crimes. You're not going without. There's a lot of car break-ins and things like that because in areas of poverty, people are going to be looking for anything they can get for financial gain. The last big events I've heard about were obviously, like, outside the Nationals game one day, there was a shooting. And a couple people I work with were working that game. In fact, Jess, that I've mentioned a couple times shooting the Capitals with, she was working that game, and I think she was part of, like, helping people get down into the dugouts and stuff. There's also a girl named Amber that works for for USA Today, and we always joke that violence follows her because, like, she was going from a Mystics game to a Capitals game, and she witnessed a shooting right in front of her. And then she was leaving. I think she was shooting DC United MLS. And there was a guy got stabbed at Audi Field, one of the security guards. They got mad over pay. And, like, stuff follows her to the point where it's become a running joke. So the city's not devoid of violent crime. Are we at a point where you need to bring in the military? No. Like I said, I'm there all the time. And the only violence is me in traffic. And
just you in general.
Yeah, I mean, I've been good.
Funny. You're just all talk is what you are.
But you know what? No one will ever know. My talk is that
they're
good.
They're knowing now because I'm outing you.
Yeah.
You're all bark.
I just want someone to, touch my hair and tell me I'm pretty. Is that so much to ask? But to just think we're in a state now where, like, in LA, I hated they brought the National Guard for the protests, but I could almost understand it because of the chaos. It was in a very controlled area. It wasn't as
But,
widespread as everybody said.
but
But
let me counter that because, and you and I talked a lot during that, because I was told you how I watched a lot of the live feeds on YouTube.
from our
And,
boy.
well, no, not even him, but just other people, just kind of, I won't say random people. There are people that do this.
Oh, there was that
now,
one guy you sent me the link for. I don't remember his
I
name, but yeah.
and I feel terrible that I can't remember off the top of my head because he does a good job, and he's on every night in LA. He's what they call a night crawler. He goes out on night and just covers. You know, he's got his police scanner and he's covering these events, and I watch it a lot, especially as I'm going to bed. Probably shouldn't because it's not not great, you know, bedtime stories that he's covering. It's actually pretty sad stuff. It's really sad stuff.
Picture Cliff in with his therapist. I don't know why I'm having nightmares at night,
No,
Doc.
yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, like I said, it can be some of it can be kind of funny, but most of it is actually very sad. But he was covering those events, and it became pretty clear, pretty evident early on that and I think this can be said for a lot of things, not just that. I mean, you see this all the time. Is you bring in the National Guard. First of all, I can promise you the National Guardsmen do not want anything to do with that. They don't. Not what they're trained for, first of all, but two, what the hell are they like? Why they're not police force, but two, all it does is anger people more.
Creates
And
way more tension.
it exacerbates the situation and just adds more and more tension, like you said, and just takes things to a level it didn't need to be. And it was very clear, you know, LAPD and all that during that was, and I believe them. LAPD doesn't necessarily have the greatest reputation. Let's put it out there. That's not a secret. But they were very clear. They had it under control. Nothing had gotten crazy. People were allowed to speak their mind as we are Americans allowed to do. You have your rights. You can go speak your mind. Those that take it too far, yes, you deal with them. And that was happening. As soon as you bring in outside resources and blow things out of whack, that's when all hell broke loose. And it did.
Yep, that's the boiling point that you don't want to get to. And like a lot of people on the left right now are like, well, Trump's initiated martial law. Like it's not martial law yet.
No, it's not. And I'm one of those on the left. It's not martial law. That's not what this is about.
That's what they're.
That'll look very different and very scary.
That's gonna be real scary because that's when there's gonna be like uprisings and stuff like that. But like it's not martial law, and it's very irresponsible, especially these creators that have mass followings and they're like it's martial law, and none of them live here. None of these big creators live here, and they don't know shit. But it's not martial law. Like DC is fine. There's gonna be military presence. I hope things stay calm and sane, but it's just hard to believe that if you see Humvees and stuff rolling around, that it's going to be that way, especially in an area so already surrounded by military. Like it's unnecessary. And DC's not in that state right now. Like, yeah, granted, it's like a big city. Anything can happen. And, but then I guess there's plans for bigger cities. And I just hope it stops before it starts. But, as somebody who lives in this area, it's like, don't worry about coming here. Don't be afraid of coming here. Every single day, the area along Constitution Ave and the National Mall, like Constitution Ave basically runs through the backside of the White House and the National Mall. And then that's the White House is always in line with the Washington Monument. You see the pictures and videos all the time. There's school buses and tourist groups there all day. The weather's been beautiful here. And so things are just chill. But like hearing that, like when I heard that the other day and I'm like, why? And, you know,
well, and you said it too. And a big part, and obviously, you know, there's plenty of stuff in the DC area to help financially with law firms and all. I mean, it's the lawyer capital of the world. But let's not kid ourselves. Tourism is huge. You start lining the streets with troops and all this stuff. Who the hell's going to want to go? You just mentioned there's school buses, there's tourist groups. If you haven't been at this point, I think most people have at some time in their life, whether it was a school trip when they were kids or whatever. It's a special place. It really is. Politics aside, DC is an incredible place. It's beautiful. Get to the outskirts, even all around the area, places you know, Mount Vernon, for example, things like that. Just get out of town, do the tourist thing. That's one of those places where you do the tourist thing. There's other cities where I'll tell you, don't do the tourist thing. Go elsewhere. That's not one of them. do the tourist thing because it's a special place. And every city's got their problems. I mean, that's cliche as you can get. I'm from Dallas. I mean, good God, you're gonna have beautiful areas. You're gonna have areas that are struggling. Areas that are struggling a lot of times, 99% of the time, in fact, in any city, is the struggles aren't their fault. It's the fault of the people that have created this mess. And this is kind of where I see this headed now, where even parts of the DC area that lower income struggling, this is just making that matter worse. It's not helping the situation at all. At all.
I mean, just think about you put it in comparison to like animals. You get an animal who's hurt or scared, and you back them into the corner.
Yeah.
They're showing their teeth and they're trying to attack and bite out of protection of themselves. If you get people who are very tense, and especially people who are low income, struggling, even if they're just not doing great but not doing poorly, the last thing you want to think of is just trying to drive through an area and it's just like, oh, there's a blockade. Do I have to show my ID? Do I need to start bringing my passport with me? Like, what are these things that are going to have to be done? And it's added unnecessary tension on all of this.
I would implore people, and if I can find the links I'm thinking about in my head right now, I'll give them to John so he can post in the description. I don't know where they are off the hat, and if we find them at some point, we'll add them in comments and that and whatnot. But I would implore people, go find. There's 3 things I'd love you to find. One of them's a YouTube channel. Obviously, subscribe. By the way, while we're at it, like and subscribe to our thing. Comment below, but go check out Peter Santenello. If people don't know who Peter Santenello is, I have a feeling in about 50 years, he's going to be looked back on one of the great kind of, I won't even say historian, because he's not the historian. He lets people tell their story. He's actually, I haven't even told John this, his most recent video, he's up in the UP.
I saw you comment or post something on that.
So good. But Peter's a pretty impressive guy, and he's done shows from the DC area, and he's just one that doesn't go in with any political leanings, anything like that. He just lets people tell the story of what it's really like there, and it's really good. The other one is a couple of, and again, I know the comments I'm going to get on this one, but it is CNN related. But if you go to the CNN, I think it's on Max now, CNN Originals. It's their documentary series. Obviously, the first one is Anthony Bourdain. Bourdain's done a show from DC before he passed, obviously, and it was spectacular because he uses his medium, which is food, to get to the heart of the community and talk and do all that. So find that one. And then the other one is W. Kamau Bell, the comedian. He used to have a documentary series on CNN Originals as well called United Shades of America. And it's a beautiful series. He went all over the United States, went to Canada, did all this, but he did, I think, multiple in the DC area that really told the true story of DC, that the DC that we don't see, the DC that even you don't see, John. And it's special, and it truly is a special place that has its problems. Sure, there's no question, but it's a special place that needs to be treated with more dignity than it has been for a long time.
It's a really cool thing, like as a history buff, having the opportunity to go and take pictures at the very place where George Washington lived. And obviously it's got his now controversial past, for understandable reasons. And there's no justification of it, but when you're raised as that's what it is, that's what it is.
That's our history, for better or for worse. And a lot of it, unfortunately, is for worse. It's our history.
And to shed a little light on that, George Washington absolutely was, and sorry, this is turning into a history lesson. George Washington actually was an open abolitionist. He didn't want slavery. He actually wanted it set up to where slaves were set free. But he also knew if he openly opposed it, he would lose the election. We would have lost the country in itself as well. But that's really neither here nor there. But just seeing like DC as it is, and then when you're going into DC, the layout of DC, George Washington himself had a hand in it. And it's funny because people won't put it together. I always hear tourists and they're like, man, it's crazy George Washington ran all this when he's here. It's like he didn't. Like he helped lay it out. He was never alive to see it come to be the capital. And a lot of the monuments that you see there,
the original capital was New York.
Yeah, it was New York and Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and I think he was actually in Philadelphia.
I think I think he might have hit all 3 in some capacity. Yeah.
So, you know, correct us, please, if we're wrong.
Please
But
correct us. My old coach up at Northwood, Brody, if you're watching this, he was my history teacher too.
oh, nice.
He'll,
But
he'll jump on that.
by all means. But
Yeah.
but that's the thing of it, is it's like this area was developed by that, and then it's they've turned it into a place like you can go and see the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights for free. The museum is free, and you can just go and go and
For
see it.
now.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
That's, I mean, not to sound glib, but let's be honest.
I mean, yeah. But that's the thing. Is like take advantage of it. Don't avoid DC. I don't know why I feel like I have the need to apologize. Like I'm not the one sending the military here. But like I promise you it's great. When I got here in December of 2020, I had a bunch of people reach out and they're like, "You're gonna love it there." And I was nervous because it is expensive as shit. Well, I think we got ranked the 7th most expensive city in the world.
Believe it.
And then when you hear it's not just DC, it's this DC and the surrounding areas.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
New York City, it's New York and the surrounding areas, Los Angeles, Chicago, it's all the same thing.
Yep.
And it is crazy expensive, and it stresses me out a lot of times. But at the same time, it's like there is a vast like variety of culture. There's a ton of things to do here, from whether it's your history need or your militaristic need, or it's just culture. We have all the theaters and everything here. It really is an awesome place. Which is why, you know, as much as I always talk about, me and Cookie, we always joke about moving so many times. Like it's actually not even really in the thought process right now, because I do enjoy it here. But it's just it's a crazy thing, and honestly, I encourage people, because, you know, I do watch the news and I do listen, but I always try and find. Now I did it. I always try and find that middle ground in there. But if you're people that know things, like comment in there and tell us, like, this is why he's doing the military. Give us your rendition of it. Also tell us why you don't think it needs to be done. If you're here in the DC area, please by all means comment. I'm curious to see other people's perspective on it, and I just want to see how like directional their information to them has been.
And let me add to that too, because obviously we definitely want to hear from people. We want those comments, but especially, and this goes for any video we post, but especially when we start getting into topics like this where it can get testy, keep it civil. You know, at the end of the day, whether you're on the right, on the left, on the far right, far left, which is going to be even harder to tame, but is, you know, we're, again, throw cliches out all you want. We're all in this together at the end of the day. I mean,
we're all citizens of the same place.
Yeah. So have the conversation, have the debates, do all that, keep it civil. If you're not going to keep it civil in the comments, we're not going to boot you from the channel by any means, but we're going to delete the comment and let you try again. Let's put it that way. Well, yeah, let's keep it civil. We want the conversation, but we want it done properly.
Yeah, we encourage the open conversation. We say, I think every episode we have said, other than hockey and Lawsy, the other thing we always talk about is our desire to learn new things. And
Yes.
you know, if you read through our reaction videos, you'll see how many times you say, yeah, we're still learning, or I didn't know that, or thanks for telling me, or whatever the case may be.
We love you, Australia. Just a reminder. You guys are awesome. The comments are so good.
Australia is so great, and they just look at us like these Americans are such donkeys.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you come to DC, also leave it in the comments. I'll come take your picture out there. I always look for issues. Thanks for making it creepy. Fuck's sakes.
All right, we're gonna move on, because speaking of creepy, it's not creepy. That was a terrible segue. What am I doing?
Wow.
Well, it could be. Actually, it could be, because you'll understand why it could be. There was another big, massive, earth-changing announcement today. For the first time in 30 years, AOL is getting rid of dial-up service.
There's still dial-up out there?
That was the first reaction of every single person that reported on this today.
You know what's funny?
Literally,
I
saw
the noise.
Well, that was the thing. That's what I was about to say. There was multiple news services I saw covering this, and every one of them started with that noise.
Oh my God. It's crazy, because I remember, I think I first got introduced to AOL my senior year of high school, 1997. And I remember logging on, and I remember like
waiting 5 minutes.
Waiting 5 minutes, and then I remember just blowing a gasket because my mom would pick up the phone.
Yes.
and it just
Oh,
kicks you off, and you're just like, "Ugh."
you became one of the cool kids if you had a second line in your house.
Well, I was too poor for that.
Oh, I was too. I wasn't one of the cool kids. I'm still not one of the cool kids. So,
Yeah,
um,
no.
but no, it made me think, and this is the reason I wanted to bring it up. Well, first of all, yeah, your reaction is exactly what everybody else. There's still dial-up.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
golly, yeah, I can't
What are
even
those?
fathom.
What are those 3 people that have it going to do now?
I don't know. And the reason I kind of joked about the creepy is because there was a lot of shit that went on in AIM, AOL
Oh, yeah,
Instant
that's where. Remember the whole ASL? That's where ASL was born.
Dude, so creepy, so creepy. But it got me thinking, because so they were saying, I think it's 30 years. Where did I had this posted up here. AOL is finally shutting down its dial-up internet service. Good Lord. All right, now my computer's frozen.
Let's
Oh,
also talk about the nightmare of this. That means we're nearing 30 years since I graduated high school.
I'm already there. This summer was my 30. I didn't get to go. Damn it.
Vomit.
But yeah, after more than 30 years in business, AOL is going to stop offering dial-up.
So
I'd
AOL is
be curious.
still a company.
Well, I knew that AOL is definitely still a company because AOL, I think, still owns big corporations.
I see that. I still see the at
AOL, because I
AIM.com.
think for a while, like AOL Time Warner was a thing.
Yeah, that
And
was a long time.
well, no, but I think fairly recently. But I guess the question I have, and I didn't dig deep into these stories but I probably should have, because the question I have that you mentioned is that how many people were still doing this?
Yeah. I would love to see the single digit numbers.
I know. I just don't know. I mean, I'm looking at my other screen around trying to find something, but I don't want to deal with it right now. But okay, what I was about to say is got me thinking, bringing back the old things from the 30s internet related that you miss. And this isn't 30 years old necessarily. Maybe, God, how old is this? I mean, I go back to, the MySpace days. We've brought it up once or twice throughout this. MySpace, there's certain things in MySpace I wish they'd bring back on Facebook or Twitter, or probably not Twitter, but Facebook or whatever. Like the ranking of your friends, that was always fun because it just created so much tension and so many conversations. Why am I not number one?
Cookie, I want you to know that you'd at least be in my top 8.
I don't think you'd be in my top 8. But see, where MySpace screwed that up is because it originally was just 6, I think, and then they added more. You could have like 9 or 12 or whatever, and it's like, oh, now you can have more friends. That
Everybody get the trophy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Stupid bullshit. Give everybody a participation medal. Like, what the hell are we doing? No, there's 6 of you, and you guys can all fuck right off.
So, by the way, I just Googled a number for you.
No, you found it?
I found as of 2023.
Okay.
That's how little we care about this until now. I guarantee a new number is going to come out soon with this news. But in the U.S., as of 2023, approximately 163,000 households still use dial-up internet exclusively, not like as a secondary thing. It has to be. Who else had dial-up? So yeah.
Oh, okay. I think. Yeah. So I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. Not that everybody's watching this. I'm just thinking of like the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, and I'm pretty sure they're dial-up.
I don't even think they have internet. I think you're giving them too much credit. But you look at what's the football stadium that we said had the most? Was it Michigan?
It was Michigan, yeah.
So Michigan, 107,000 people. But if you open up the field and you just let everybody be in there, no event, you could basically
everybody that had dial-up.
Everybody's dial-up could fit in that one freaking stadium. And if they still have dial-up, you don't have to worry about filling up the parking lot. They're not driving there.
So what I'm envisioning, and I think there is a practical, like a practical defense of this that I don't. No, I truly do. I mean, we're joking on this. I think there's a practical defense of the dial-up thing because there are clearly communities, and I joked about the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, but there's communities out there that don't have high-speed internet and all this kind of stuff.
Well, they don't have the infrastructure for it. They can't
don't have
afford
the
it.
infrastructure for it. So they still do have the dial-up. So I guess there's an argument to be made, depending on what that number is now, even if that 100,000 whatever something is a very, compared to the overall population of this country, is an incredibly small number, and I'm sure it's smaller now. But that's
It's like
still
what,
a lot of people.
1%?
That's still a lot of people that are going to now be without. But
I mean,
but I guess, well, I say that, was AOL the last dial-up available?
I
Like,
believe
can you not, do you not have an internet service in your town that you can get online with to get to Google Chrome or something?
well, there's
I don't
there's
know.
going to be two options here. One is I have no freaking idea. I didn't even know that dial-up was still around in the first place, so I can't tell you if there's another company that has it. But the other thing about it is, even these low-income towns, there are low-income cell phone services that have data plans on them, so they can still get on that way. But using a home computer,
Because
it has none of that.
they're not gonna be able to afford any Elon Musk style internet.
No, believe it or not, what's it called? Starlink it's not
Starlink, it's not,
overly
but
expensive, but
no, it's not. But if you can only afford dial-up, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not affording Starlink.
and how much is dial-up? Are you just paying your phone bill and now you just automatically get it because AOL's like you've hung on to it this long?
And do you still like go to the checkout counter and get the little CD?
Oh my god, I forgot about that. When they
Yeah.
were, oh my god, that's right, man. I think AOL kept the CD companies in business alone.
Yeah. I saw a meme the other day. Oh my God, what was it? I wish I'd kept it. I should have sent it to you. I feel like an idiot for not sending it to you. Maybe I saved it on one of my socials. It was a picture of all these floppy disks. It was 40 or 37 floppy disks, I think it was. Maybe it was 47. And all it said was it took 37 floppy disks to install Windows 93.
Yeah, that's unreal.
I remember those days. Any program you ever got, you would get a stack of
Yeah,
floppy disks.
it came in it came in a thing that almost looked like what held VHS tapes and was like almost Rolodex style in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you had to go through the whole process, which is maybe how many megabytes was it, you think, for all of those discs together? Like a
Was it
floppy
even,
disk,
were we even, oh, were we even at megabytes yet?
I don't, maybe like what, 3 or 4 total?
Kilobytes? Megabytes?
It's insane to think where it's coming. Now here we are, which is actually this is perfect because this brings me
I told you
yeah,
before we started. You're
this
welcome.
brings us right to my whole thing. Because throughout the day, me and Cookie are both, I think, just coming from the sports world. We're very results driven. And so
Yeah.
we're constantly looking at things, probably more than we should. Thankfully, it's not yet affected our mental health. But when you start seeing us with patches missing out of my hair and out of
For
his beard,
yourself, sir.
no, your mental health problems come from other stuff. But
Adding to them.
exactly, that whole list of books back there, surprise. But it brought us to a world where now, like, we're on Instagram and TikTok, even Facebook's like kind of now just back there as an archive, and I'm looking at everything, and I was telling,
Real quick, while you're doing this, I'm gonna do an experiment. I gotta figure out how to do it on my phone. While you're doing this, I'm gonna pull up what my screen time has been today.
oh, okay, yeah, that's the other.
And I've been at work all day.
That's a problem too. But like you think about it now, not only do we have access to just the ability to search information, like YouTube is proving to be a great platform. It's not only an archive for everything that we're putting these shows out on, but it's a good way to earn some money. And we would love to have this channel be at the point where we're able to fund the different things we do to bring them to the people who are watching. But even on apps like Instagram and Facebook, you can monetize. I actually have not looked into that yet. I mean, I use Instagram as just kind of like a living highlight reel of whatever I'm doing at the time. If you go to my Instagram, it's all photography and videography stuff and now highlights of this. But TikTok has gone from being the most cringe app in the world to being a place where people now have built communities. They're able to hang out with each other. Thank you, COVID, for really making that kind of be a thing. And people are making money. And I remember I was talking to my friend Brittany, which will be on one of our sports shows. And like I made a comment one day about these people that go on there and spend all this money, because people, I think, only get like, I don't know the percentage. It's a very low percentage of what people give you in gifts through TikTok. And if I really hope you know what I'm talking about. It's too much to get into. But when you're live, people can gift you, people can gift your videos once you reach a certain thing. Eventually, you can be what's part of the Creative Rewards program. It used to be the Creators Fund. But you have to be really busy on there, and you can start making some decent money. There's a point where I was bringing in almost $500 a month from TikTok just because I was going live all the time. But I made a comment, a real snarky and unnecessary comment. I'm waiting for the shock factor.
No, it's not a shock factor. I was there when you did it, and
And
well,
I
go
made a
on because
comment.
I have a response.
Yeah, well, I made a real snarky comment to Brittany, and I was just like, I go, it's really ridiculous that people are spending this much money for something they're getting nothing in return just because they want to get your attention without thinking of the ramifications of Brittany is a single mom and she works and does all this stuff. And like, I could have, if people really listened and didn't just say that guy's an asshole, which I rightfully deserve, like that could have significantly impacted the money she's bringing in, and she's providing a great life for her son. She's providing herself with her bills being paid and keeping her in a great spot. And let me tell you, I'm seeing all these different products Brittany's promoting and stuff now. She's killing it. Like she's doing a really, really good job with all that stuff. And as two guys from, again, the hockey world, it's not a cheap sport to keep your kid in. So, you know, if people are on there making money and doing that kind of stuff, that's awesome. And I applaud you for that. The one complaint I have, and it's really, it's, I don't want to say it's cringe. I think it's more disheartening because like I'll go on there and that's how I've met Adam. That's how I've met a lot of these people that are now actual friends that I talk to on a regular basis. We go on there and we talk and we catch up and we hang out. And that's my favorite part about TikTok. The thing I don't like is when you run into people on there that might be newer and you're able to talk and get to know somebody new. Again, it all comes from that desire to learn about people and their lives and stuff like that. And you enjoy hearing about it. And then eventually you start going in there and the whole time, all they're doing is say, tap, we need to fill up this gift gallery. Where are the gifts? Where's my daily heart me? And there's no more conversation. And I get it. Once people start making some money, they're like, oh, I want that more. And it becomes their new drug. And for some people, it might be saving them in a lot of ways. So I don't want to step in there and be like, this is stupid. But at the same time, we've reached the peak of like, oh, it's a community. And now we're like, money, 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 money. And so if people are looking for communities, follow us. We're happy to hang out. But and the people that are making the money on it, honestly, keep doing what you're doing. I'm glad it's keeping a roof over your head. I'm glad it's doing well for you. But we just missed the conversation portion.
Yeah, and I'll add to kind of put it towards the sports thing again. I didn't think I was going to go here until you kind of mentioned, you know, people that are making money on it. I mean, unless you're doing something just pure evil on there and making money off of it, more power to you. And the reason I said the sports thing is because I hear people will complain all the time about contracts that athletes get and this and that. Well, you know what? If you're an athlete and that team wants to pay you that amount of money, there's not a single person out there that's going to say, nope, I don't want that. If that's what they're willing to pay you, you're going to take it. If TikTok is willing to pay you for what you're doing, if YouTube's willing to pay us for what we're doing, they're not yet, by the way. But you know, if that's where it is, then more power to you. Good for you. You know, but make sure you're continuing to stay true to yourself and be yourself. You know, and I think that's a big part of it is don't change who you are in order to get there. And if anybody that knows John and I, this is, other than the fact that I probably don't talk this much in person, this is who I am. This is definitely who John is. I can tell you right now, he's a prick and he shows it on a daily basis. And there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because actually I was going to even say is like as a disclaimer, it's for the people who come here. Again, we couldn't express our appreciation even more, but you know if this turns into a financial gain, like
Great.
just to be completely clear to you guys, is we're going to use it to live, and we're going to use it to just continue to do this more. Like we're not the people that will get lost in what we do. Neither of us come from a ton of money. Hockey was not expensive when we were kids. I mean, it was, but it's nothing like now. You know, we do this because we enjoy it. We're not doing this saying we have to do this and make money. Like we did it because we just like the outlet. And we appreciate the fact that people take the time to come and watch these things and like listen. And it's great. Like talking to Adam earlier, like he referred to something in an episode. And then the episode where I showed the shirt I was wearing for his buddy, he's like, "Oh, can I share this?" It's like, "Absolutely, dude." It's like, we're not
We
like,
want you to share it. That's the
yeah,
point.
share it. Like I promoted your shirt. I don't need
Whole
anything from it.
point.
I like the shirt. You made a great product. I'm happy to tell people about it.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of those
You've
things where
got if you've got a product, especially if it's something that has a message behind it. But again, no matter what, if you've got something that you want to get out there, reach out to us. We'll throw it on. We'll promote you. Yeah. And that's again, that's going to come across in a lot of ways as I don't know what the word I'm looking for is here, but it's yes, it's about us wanting to be successful in what we're doing, but we want to just get word out and help people, man. And I know it's easy to say when we're doing this, but it's the truth. It's absolute truth. If you've got a product, a company, a foundation in particular, anything that you want to get out there, let us know, man, and we'll promote the hell out of you.
yeah, we are fully in support of doing that for other people, and we're
Yeah.
not looking for anything in return. Like we just enjoy doing it.
It's been done for us before. This is
Mhm.
us kind of paying it forward for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a pretty cool thing, and it's a pretty cool place to be here now, where there's so many people that come here to actually get news or get information or have entertainment and things like that. Like I said, when this docu-series is done, which I've been sitting on for a long time as part of the thing we're building the community on, it's airing here on YouTube. Like, granted, I can't, it's not like I can solicit to Netflix. I don't have big cinema cameras, but I want to put it here just so people can watch it for free. And so it's just it really is a cool thing. And so, but yeah, like wherever you are and you're doing well, like you said, more power to you. It's awesome. So
The last thing I want to bring up, and this goes back to a conversation we had, God, was it 2 weeks ago? And we talked about, following your, again, not to, I keep saying it. I'm making a cliche out of saying it's a cliche. But yeah, what have I done? Um, but we keep saying follow your dream. Well, like, what does it want to do? We did a whole episode on it a couple weeks ago.
and I did
And
that, and
part
I
of
did that video last week too. Is same
yeah,
message. Yeah.
yeah, and part of it was us trying to give our advice and experiences. And I was thinking about this today, even before we knew, and this is part of what I'm going to talk about, is we thought we had a plan for today's show. Up until literally 2 hours before the show, we had a guest and it kind of fell through, and that's fine. We'll have her on again at some point.
I love you, Kim.
But we kind of frankly went in a little bit of panic mode, and also we should show you the text, but we're not going to, of John and I just going, I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired. I don't know. I sat on my couch. I got home from work. I'm like, yeah, if I can stand up, then we've got a chance of getting this done.
Cookie
And
sent me a text that said I stood up, so that's something.
yeah, I did. I literally, those were my exact words. And I hadn't even set up all my equipment yet. My Roadcaster is sitting right here next to me, and nothing was set up because I had not unpacked from my trip to Texas. And I just like, yeah, I got to set all this shit up. I still got to get cleaned up because I had all the filth from the warehouse on me and all this stuff. But where I'm going with this is make sure you don't give in to that kind of apathy. And we didn't, but we were both tired. John didn't have to work today, but that doesn't mean, and in fact, in a lot of ways, that's even worse. I've been there.
It was like a work from home, just doing stuff. So I was literally just
Yeah,
stagnant.
but you weren't at the
Yeah.
gym or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
just
I
stagnant.
get it. Sometimes that's even worse because you're at home, and when you're at home, it's like, okay, whoo, it's that psychological thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Doing nothing is awesome today.
oh, the worst actually. And it would have been really easy for us to just mail something in and say, all right, we lost our guests. What are we going to do? We're both exhausted. I quite frankly, I could be brutally honest, and I'm not going to speak for John. I wasn't feeling it. I'm just like, let's just, we'll do a quick one, say, sorry guys, we'll see you next Tuesday. But, we kind of came up with a bit of a plan, not knowing where it's going to go. I think it's actually gone better than either one of us could have expected. But the point of this is, don't be apathetic. If this is what you want to do, whatever that is, I'm not saying this specifically, but if there's something you want to do, don't let things get in the way, especially your own brain, your own mind can be the worst enemy in anything. You know, kind of a, you know, going back to John's mental health Monday stuff and all that we talk about. Your own mind is your worst enemy at times, and there was a lot of times as the day went on where I just was kind of like, I kind of want to text John and just say, screw it, I'm not feeling it. And yet, what happens is when you get into that mode, and whatever it is you want to do, whether it's a podcast like we're doing, if you're an artist, if you're doing whatever it is, I guarantee you, as soon as you start, like we did, I mean, again, this goes back to I'm energized again. This is the most fun I've had all day, without question. Like I'm fired up, and as I'm setting all the equipment up, and I got Suits on in the background, I'm watching Suits again for the third time, and I'm just like, I'd rather just sit on my couch and watch Suits.
Dude, I love Meghan Markle.
I love
And
them
let me tell
all.
you, the English give her so much crap, but I love Meghan Markle.
Yeah, you know me and redheads though.
Oh boy, do I!
Oh, Donna, hello.
We didn't
Hi,
really
Donna.
we didn't go on much of a Lozzie tangent, but that whole thing where Lozzie screwed me over.
Sarah Rafferty, yes, please.
His partner in crime was a tall redhead that Cookie was furious with Jeremy at.
Oh yeah. I definitely have a thing for redheads, but
It's a full circle thing there.
yeah, the whole full circle. But again, I go back to it's the bigger picture here is there's gonna be days where you just don't want to do it. That was in our coaching career. That's when our playing career. That's in now our podcast career. All that stuff. There's gonna be days that you just don't feel it. Get out there and do it, because as soon as you start the process, that energy will pick up. Especially if it's something you love, that energy will be there.
Yeah. And actually, I think this is better than any, because I hadn't done my Mental Health Monday post yet, and I was going to use something from this, and I was like, what am I going to do? Kind of the same mindset you're talking about, but I think that's actually a better message than anything I would have come up with today, because it's true. It's like we were slugs, and this was up until literally right before record.
Oh,
And
I mean, within minutes of recording, like we're both, I mean, as soon as John sent me the link to pop on here, I opened it up so he could see me. I said, I'll be right back. And that was me going to like say, I mean, yes, I went to pour a beverage, but part of that was also going, oh, I got to get myself fired up. But as soon as, I mean, again, this is going to be like I'm going to sound like a real jackass now. As soon as the lights came on,
how many donkey emojis should I use right now?
as many as you need. Because I feel like a fucking donkey even saying that, but it's true. As soon as I got here, sat down, mic in front of me. I mean, you know how it is. The mic's in front of me. We're talking. Oh, I was like, all right, we're in. Let's go. Let's talk. I'm ready.
It's dead true. And I think the thing that's most fun about this is for people who ever have I'm going to put privilege in quotes, but it really is. If you ever have the privilege of actually spending time with me and or Cliff in person, this is exactly how this goes in person. Like this isn't a podcast we script. I only have some stuff written down about like the National Guard thing, just because I didn't want to give nothing information. But like normally we have nothing written down. We never have questions prepared for any of the guests that come in. We just want natural conversations, because I feel that's the best way to kind of learn about the things we're doing. But I mean, this is just authentically us.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've kind of, and we didn't even talk about this, it's happened organically. We've both done it now, and we're going to continue to do it because I think it makes the process better. It started when Adam came on the first time. I didn't do any research. I didn't know who Adam was. And John did that on purpose. He didn't send me anything. I didn't even know where to look to find it, other than, you know, we became friends on social media briefly, but, you know, there's only so much there, and I didn't look anything. It was the same thing last week when we had Tyler on. You know, I sent John some links to learn about Tyler, his own website. John didn't even didn't look at him. He didn't want to know. You know, we go into this, you know, in blind in some ways so we can have these conversations. And that's what we talked about leading in today is, again, we were both pretty, like he said, we're kind of like slugs today, but, you know, we came up with a last minute plan. And I had a couple ideas in my head of what I wanted to talk about, including this, and just said, but I go, I'm not going to tell you what I want to talk about. And that was exactly why I wanted the organic responses. And I think that's important. That goes back to my journalism background. You know, you don't know the answers you're going to get. Sometimes you do. But
I was actually about to say that. It's like with you, I think I even said that when we had Adam on. It's like once your journalistic brain kicks in, like you're good at like on the spot questions and stuff because you have to be as a journalist. I'm a photojournalist, so I just look for a smile, click a button.
Well, and I was a photojournalist too, but I had this conversation with my dad the other day about what you and I talked about, where my other passion beyond hockey has always been the writing and the journalism, and I just don't do it. I just haven't until now. And that specific, and still to this day, I mean, talking to Tyler was amazing because of my history with Tyler. It was phenomenal.
That guy's so great.
Tyler's amazing. But for me, just personally, and like re-energizing, my diploma is literally sitting over here, re-energizing the journalistic fire in me. That interview with Adam we did, I felt like I was back in my element again, because I told my dad this, like, I felt like I was back where I'm supposed to be. And again, I don't want to keep making this about me, because this is about everybody. Like, what is that thing? What are you meant to do? Go give it a try. If it works, great. It may not. Like, that's the whole point. It may not, but you're never going to know if you don't give it a shot. And you may find another path that works even better, that might be slightly off of what you were going to do, but still there.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Is like, you might find something down the road that's still applicable to that. Like, my whole photo career started because in 2008, there's the recession, the housing recession. College coaches really weren't visiting athletes as much. There's cuts and everything. So I just was like, hey man, for this much money, I can make you a highlight reel video. I had to get a video camera. I didn't know what I was doing it, but I wanted to do something to look good for them. Little did I know it would take me down the road to doing what I'm doing now. And honestly, I think about it all the time, and I still see the photo get shared. And when I see that photo of Ovechkin celebrating my photo I took, it's something that in a billion years I never thought I would have got. People, and I was talking to somebody about this. People have taken pictures of the Stanley Cup, and someone's gonna get those photos every year. For all we know, me and the team that was there in New York on Long Island that day might be the last to ever get a goal, record-breaking goal. And it's crazy to think that, like, of all the photos that happened that day, like, I keep seeing mine. And then honestly, it's like one of my idols is a photographer, Bruce Bennett. Like, I see mine more than his, and he was just on the other side of the ice than me. His is out there like crazy as well. But it's a crazy thing. Is like, just like Cookie said, it's like you have the path and you might veer off that path, but there's something from that first path that might be applicable down the road. And Cookie being in his journalistic element coming through with Adam, and I could see it too. And it was actually great because
I felt it when it happened. I felt it.
It's great because, like, I knew a lot about Adam's story, so I didn't want to start telling Adam's story, but I just had a feeling it's like Cookie's gonna have the right questions. You did the same thing with Julie.
I haven't had the chance to do that in years, and to be able to just sit there and I mean, literally interview somebody. And it's something I kind of always prided myself on, even in my days with the Cowboys, as an intern, and you're surrounded by the best in the business, because it's the Dallas Cowboys. They're always, every network, ESPN or whoever it is always going to have, put aside your feelings about the Cowboys. I don't care who you are.
I will never put my feelings about the Cowboys aside.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. They're always going to send the best people they can there to cover the team, which means I'm surrounded by, absolute legends. And, to have the opportunity at times, and it didn't happen a lot during the season, but during training camp, when the press conferences are longer and longer and longer, and I got, as a measly intern, got to ask my questions. And I was just thinking about one the other day that I was actually embarrassed about, but not always. And then there's those moments. You said it, and that moment when Ovechkin got the goal and that celebration, you had that moment. You've taken thousands and thousands of photos,
so many
of not just the Capitals, but of him himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you had that moment. And there's been other great moments, but there's that one moment for sure. Yeah. And we live for those moments, and then you get greedy because you want the next one. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Like, the funny thing is when you get that moment, I think I told you, I still don't think it truly has, but like, it took a long time for it to land what I was able to capture. Because I think I sent you that photo right after I got. I was still at the
You said it
arena.
on your phone. You took a picture with your phone of your camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was just
yeah,
like, "Holy shit, dude! Look at this!"
yeah.
Because and you know what's funny is I'm pretty sure I sent it while I was standing on the ice waiting for the ceremony to begin,
Yeah.
which is even funnier. But like, I didn't even grasp what had happened. But like you said, now that I start seeing it everywhere, like the team store, if you look up anything on Fanatics, it's everywhere. And
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, this is really freaking cool. But like you said, now I'm like, okay, what's the next thing?
That's just it. And again, you want that moment, but the best in their craft had that moment and go, all right, how can I do it again? And that's the point. And I never got to do that because I had my moment, what was it, 20 something years ago, whatever it was, when I was still interning with the Cowboys. I had my moment, and it was kind of an interesting moment. I don't know if I've told this story yet. I don't think I have, because one of the guests I'm hoping to get, which is a long shot, admittedly, I want to actually talk to him about this because I owe a lot to him for this. But I was very lucky, and we won't go on too far, but this kind of goes along with this conversation. I think my final full season with the Cowboys, that training camp that year, that's when they were still doing training camp in San Antonio. Now they're back in California, and I got to go to training camp for a couple of years, and it's a fun experience. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Wait, the Cowboys training camp is in California?
Oxnard.
Oh, I never knew that.
Well, for years and years and years, it was in Thousand Oaks, like the Landry days and all that. They did it in Thousand Oaks, California, and then they moved it to Austin under the Jimmy Johnson years because he wanted to have training camp in the hottest place on earth. So he'd go to Austin, and they had those brutal training camps.
They won championships.
They did, and then they went to San Antonio for a few years, and so I was part of that for 2 years. I did 2 years in San Antonio. By the way, I was arguably MVP of the media flag football game one year. Just saying. They didn't actually give that award out, but I should have been, and I have other people to vouch for me on that. Just have
Make a line, ladies. Make a line.
2 touchdowns. What do you have to say about that?
You know what? That's nothing compared to Al Bundy's 4 touchdowns for Polk High.
We didn't play a full game, so but I had a moment down there. It was my moment, and all the time I worked for the Cowboys, and I got to write some fun stories, some cool stories. I was there when Emmett broke Walter Payton's record and all that stuff. But in training camp, I was asked, because during training camp, they have the interns do these little like 1 paragraph kind of snippets. And I forgot I think they just call them camp notes. And there was like, you'd have the full stories, and then there was this little column on the website where it's just camp notes, these little 1 paragraph kind of things. And my boss asked me to go ask Terry Glenn a question. Terry Glenn was with the Cowboys at the time. Bill Parcells was the head coach. They had been together in New England. And I don't know if you remember this. Terry Glenn was the one that Bill Parcells referred to as she one time.
I do remember that. Oh my God, I do remember that. That's I didn't realize.
So this wasn't the question I was supposed to ask, obviously. I probably would have been punched in the face. But because I was working directly for the Cowboys, I had slightly better access than the other media. So I got to wait down in the tunnel because they were at the Alamo Dome. So we were indoors, and I got to wait kind of in the tunnel outside of our office for the players to come by. And I grabbed Terry. I literally was given 1 question to ask him. So I asked him the 1 question. I was there for 45 minutes. He just wanted, I don't know why that particular day he decided to talk. And he wanted to talk, and I started asking some other questions. I didn't have to ask a lot, admittedly, but a few more questions, kind of building on it. Unbeknownst to me, because I was literally about 20 feet outside our website office, our temporary office in there. 45 minutes later, I walk into the office, and they're all just looking at me like, what just happened? And I'm terrified. I didn't know what had happened.
Do you think you were in trouble?
No, I didn't think I was in trouble because I had the same reaction they did once I got in there. Like, what just happened? Like, I don't know what I just did. I was expecting to be done in like 2 seconds, like get my 1 quote and get out of there.
Yeah.
And frankly, I found out later I actually made him late for meetings. They get fined for that. He didn't give a shit. I walk in there with my recorder. Thank God my recorder worked that day, because I was taking notes and I had my recorder. And my boss just goes, "Start typing." That's all he said. Just start typing. Because the first thing I had to do was just transcribe the whole thing. So I ended up getting to write this story. Now my boss edited it a bit, so there's some things in there that I went back and read and go, I would have never said that. That's kind of weird. Those are words used back in his era, not mine. But so I write this story and it becomes the lead story that day. It's no longer a camp note. It's the primary story about Terry Glenn's relationship with Bill Parcells and how much he loves Bill, even after all that happened in New England. So I get this amazing story. So I'm already on cloud nine because I got the lead story that day out of nowhere. And then I wake up the next morning. I don't think much of it. We have a morning practice to go to. That practice is outdoors and a setup outside the Alamodome. I go outside, and by then I had gotten a lot of the people with the Cowboys had gotten to know me. And again, we are way off the original topic, but I got to know Brad Sham. Brad Sham's been the voice of Dallas Cowboys football for 50 something years. I don't even know how long now. I mean, he was back in the Landry days, back in the Don
He's
Meredith
still around
days.
now?
Oh yeah, he's still the radio voice of the Cowboys. And just one of the best human beings you'll ever meet in your life. And I knew this before this incident happened. And I had gotten to know him a bit. He was very friendly with me. And that particular morning, I decided to kind of go off and watch practice away from everybody. I usually kind of go around people to kind of network, as you're supposed to do as an intern. I kind of went on my own, and Brad was kind of nearby, so I kind of went and stood by Brad, and we were just kind of watching practice, talking a little bit. No big deal. I would talk to guys about, he was one that he had done some hockey broadcasting in his life, so that's one of the things we bonded over. I talked to him about that. There's a couple other reporters that had done some hockey stuff. And as we're sitting there talking, Parcells comes strolling over, and I'm already a little nervous, not because of the story, just it's Bill Parcells. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a nobody. And he comes walking over, and he and Brad are talking, and Brad introduces him to me. He goes, "Oh, you wrote that story." And my heart dropped because I'm like, uh-oh, did I say something bad? What did I do?
This is what we call the oh shit factor.
I was puckered. I was, and uh, and then it occurred to me after he said that, not only was I puckered, but then the first thought in my head was, Bill Parcells read my story.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Bill Parcells read my story. And he goes, yeah, he goes, great work. Terry's one of my favorite people ever. And then he just walked away. I'm like,
from a guy like that, that's huge words. Huge words.
I can die now. I mean, and again, I keep saying this. I was just a simple intern that fell into this crazy thing that I can't believe happened. I have, Brad was kind enough to just introduce me. Again, it was the right thing to do because it was just two of us standing there. It was kind of him to do that. And he walked away, and Brad just kind of looked at me and grinned. Didn't have to say anything. He just kind of looked at me and grinned. He knew. Brad's an incredibly intelligent human being. He knew what had just happened for me and how important it was for me. But I go back to, then it was, what's next? How do I get that? But then my career went a different way. I kind of fell, I still did the Cowboys thing, and I was helping out, and I was doing that. And I started doing photography a little bit for them. I didn't have the equipment the big guys had, so I did what I could do. And then it was full-time coaching after that. So I didn't have that moment again. And maybe I will at some point doing this. I mean, the closest I've come is talking to Adam, and that was so much fun.
And you've had your successes along the way. I mean, you've won some championships in hockey, which, some people might say, oh, it's tier 3. It's not a big deal. Do you know how hard it is to win a championship at that level because of how many freaking teams there are? And then the teams, and you got to get the players, and you got to convince the players you're the right place for them. It's a tough thing to do. Man. Like, we talked with Jeremy about how great the team in the Brahmas was, and they didn't win a championship there.
Yeah, no, I've been fortunate enough to be a part of some really, really good teams, and we've won championships and then go to nationals and get the brakes beat off of us. But it's hard. It's really hard, and so yeah, it's finding that next moment. And I guess going back to the bigger picture, what we're talking about is when you get your moment, find the next one. Don't be content.
Yeah.
Continue to find that moment.
I mean, that's drive. I mean, don't let it ruin your life, but
No.
let it motivate you. Let it be a drive for your work ethic and everything. One thing I always talk about, and again, I know like it's a whole sports thing, but I was not a skilled hockey player. I was never the guy who can do these moves that you'll watch highlights of. But I can tell you one thing: I was the guy that worked harder than everybody, and so being able to harness that work ethic is probably the most valuable lesson I've learned. So on days like today, that's where that kicks in. That work ethic really kicks in. Now, have I been lazy at things before? Yeah, it's because I hated doing it, and it makes a world different.
I was the worst off ice guy. I hated the gym. I was the
You know what's
worst.
funny? I actually liked it. We just didn't have the right direction, and then I ran gyms for a long time. So working out, I do
had
it now. I'm like,
amazing. I had amazing strength coaches over the years. I had amazing people, including my rookie year of pro. And I sucked at it. I was terrible. I hated it. I was the worst. And it had a lot to do, I have no doubt, with why my career ended as early as it did. But the last thing I'll say, and you kind of mentioned, you sort of hinted at this, is when it goes to talking about those moments that you're going to have, not all those moments are going to be positive. There's going to be some shit moments. There's some negative moments. Just like the positive moments, yes, you can be excited about them, but you want to find the next one. Those negative moments, don't dwell on them. Learn and move on. Find the next moment. Learn from that, move on. Learn from the positive moments, move on. Definitely learn from the negative moments and move on.
That's actually one of the things when I was working with Vinicius de Jesus, Vinny, we called him. The guy was a pro MMA fighter when I was in Connecticut. I know it's a saying that's been around forever, but something they always said when it came to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, especially in their tournaments, you never lose, you learn. And at first, I remember first hearing that, I'm like, you guys are such dorks. That shit stuck with me every single time. And I'm like, oh, and this is what I did to learn. And again, two people that love to learn as much as we do, that's an invaluable trait. So, and it's actually good you told all that story. Cause I mean, when I'm talking about what people are doing on TikTok to make money, to my shitty comment, which, didn't even register as shitty. It was more of a disbelief kind of thing, to them doing well. And now I want them to win. Like, we love seeing the wins. Some of the videos me and Cookie send to each other are like these great big win moments. A lot of them are in sports. Some of them are in music and stuff like that. Like, we love those wins, even though they have nothing to do with us. It's cool to see.
Oh, dude, the guy that took over my internship with the Cowboys, his name's Rob Phillips, and we're not really in touch anymore. Occasionally, I don't even have his number anymore. We'll occasionally chat on Twitter. I'm not calling it X, Twitter. He took over for me at the internship with the Cowboys, and then became a full-time staffer there, and was there for a long time. I mean, he was there for 15 plus years, and became one of the on-air TV guys for some of their post-game shows and pre-game shows and all that kind of stuff. One of their primary writers, and he's now written a book. I think he's written more than one book, actually, now that I think about it. He's no longer with the Cowboys, but he's still covering the Cowboys. He's doing his own thing now. And that's like you said, I am so unbelievably proud of him. He was the younger guy coming in out of Texas A&M when I was leaving. We were there for one season together. I was the kind of outgoing guy, and he was the incoming guy, and we bonded, and he became a friend at the time. And we'd still be friendly. He's a great guy. We just kind of disconnected. Like, God, I did it.
It's
but
too deep, Cookie.
that is too. But like you said, we celebrate people's wins, man, and I'm so incredibly proud of him, and the other people, including everybody that I worked for over there. It was a great group of people, not just my boss, but my peers, my mentors, everybody. And the people that came up after me. It's so cool to see the success they're having.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's cool because you know that what they're doing.
Yeah.
But so let's do this. Let's, other than the stuff we said to comment on earlier, I know it's almost like a totally different show than what we started, but also in the comments.
We were not planning on going this long, I can tell you that.
No, I'll even screenshot the text, or I'm like, we'll keep it short. What talk about a fantasy.
It goes back to we said this before. When it's just the two of us, those have been our longest shows. We can't stop.
I know. And again, this is us, and this is
is
us
us
in real life.
Although we're at an hour and 28 now, but the first 21, you better cut out, asshole.
I'm only releasing that.
No.
The rest of the show will come out next week. But in the comments, tell us some of your wins. Tell us some of the things you want to do. I know we say this all the time. Engage with the post, because it's awesome hearing about this stuff. Like, the one good thing about our reaction videos is we're hearing about these people played at this time. This is where we're right. People make fun of us because we don't like spiders. People make fun of us because we don't know their sports. And honestly, it's all funny. Definitely engage. Like, tell us what you want to do. Like, what are your wins? And outside of the obvious ones, outside of having kids, that's an amazing thing to do. And being a parent is an amazing thing to do. But what are some of your personal wins?
Yeah.
So comment down there, like this post. That's how you can get it out there. And even more importantly than us reading it, maybe your win will help inspire somebody else that's reading it.
We've said this before. We've said this before. We've seen the fruits of those important comments playing out. And that happened, a few weeks ago when we had Adam and Julie on, and someone commented about, that had MS, that watched the show, that didn't necessarily have the greatest support system. Well, hopefully now that person does, because immediately Adam and Julie responded saying, you can reach out to me anytime.
They're awesome. They're awesome with that. Yeah. We'll have more MS people on as
I
well.
love Julie. Julie's the best.
She's awesome. We are still waiting on Adam's photo.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on that
photo. Not the one I did. Yeah.
No, we'll we'll have more MS people on. We got some other people with just different things, not illnesses, just people like that just have some awesome things going on. Kim, that was supposed to be on tonight, I've known for a long time. Kim.
Yeah.
In all fairness, so Kim is in Europe right now as a photographer with this USA basketball team, as they're playing a bunch of different games out there. She did it before. They went to Croatia, and now she's like Spain, Italy, and stuff. She's posted a picture of her at the Coliseum, which is like my ultimate dream place to go. So I'm a little salty, but Kim is.
You're always salty. Nothing's new there.
I'm saltier. I'm high sodium today, but Kim's got a really cool thing going out there. So like, she goes. I hope this doesn't fuck up your schedule. Well, it does, but I still love you, Kim. But
we made it work.
We made it work. As long-winded as we always are. So we look forward to seeing everybody's comments in here, which means comment,
subscribe to the channel, like the post, even more so. I mean, for sure, but even more so, share it. Share this video, share the channel with your friends, with your family, because while not every video is going to relate to everybody, there's going to be something, because our goal, especially with the Tuesday shows, we're going to have such a variety of guests that there's going to be something that you'll relate to, it'll mean something to you. So make sure and share.
If you don't like and share, that means you hate puppies, kittens, and babies. So
True.
It's on you now.
True. Very true.
Sign us off, Cookie.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.
I'm so freaking sorry that I didn't stay. Didn't mean to run and throw it all away. Brain wishing, hoping that it's not too late.